I'd like to thank the grace of heaven, the virtues of the masters, and the compassion and mercy of the grand predecessors, senior transmitters, lecturers, temple masters, and everyone for giving me the opportunity today to talk about today's class, which is the Dao De Jing, chapter 62. Okay, here's the outline, the overview. Okay, it's called Profound or Wondrous Dao or Praising Dao. It's slightly shorter than the previous two classes or previous classes. It's about the same length as chapter 61, and now it's a change of gear. There's a change of gear in terms of the topic or the theme of the chapter. It's now back to talking about the Tao. Okay, I know the last two couple chapters, 61, 60, and 58 and 57, it talks about governance, right? You either govern a kingdom or govern your life, etc. Okay, so now it's not about that. It's more just about what the Tao, what is the Tao, or in this case, it's what why is it so marvelous? Okay. All right. Okay. Or why is it so great? Okay. So it's divided into three sections. Section 1 is more or less the proposition or the thesis. Okay. Intro, thesis, and then section 2 is kind of, you can say, the analysis, and then the conclusion. Okay, or the synthesis. Okay. Okay, so the thesis, analysis, and synthesis. Okay, all right, so that's section, okay, so that's chapter 62. So now, let's go to the outline details. I'm gonna do this in about 60 minutes or so, 65 minutes, okay? All right, okay. So the first, first three phrases, the first two lines is, the Tao is the wonder of all things, the treasure of the kind person. It's the protection or the refuge of the unkind person. Okay. So basic meaning is that we all know that the Tao is the wonder of all things. Okay. Or you can say it's the mother of all things. That's in chapter 42. Okay. So because it's the ultimate source of everything, right? Remember, the Tao produces one produces two produces three produce myriad things. Okay, so that's first line of chapter 42. So it's the wonder, right? It's okay. All right, it's so wondrous, right? So you can say mysterious, okay, etc., etc. Okay, marvelous, etc. Marvelous, wondrous. Okay, all right. Another meaning. Okay, now the external side, on the external level, is that the Tao gives rise to all, right, to everything, and nurtures all, because it is the source of the world, where the world provides a nurturing environment for all living things to grow, develop, and flourish. Right. So that's on the phenomenal level, right? That's on the the external side. That internally, the Tao is wondrous is because it's also in our nature. It's that that is our Buddha nature essence, that our true nature, self nature. Okay, that's called. All right. Further understanding is that the Tao is so marvelous and profound that even understanding a bit of it can benefit us greatly. So that's how marvelous, how wonderful it is. Okay, because just understanding even a little bit of it, okay, it still will gain a lot, will benefit a lot. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's why. Okay, now that's the first phrase. Now let's look at the next two phrases. All right, so the basic meaning of the second phrase is just the, remember it says it's the treasure of the kind person. Now, 善人, san literally can mean, that's what it means. Okay, all right, good, benevolent, kind, virtuous, etc. So the literal translation is that it's good people, kind person, good people, benevolent person, virtuous people. So if you are at that level, if you're at that level of good person, okay, it's very broad. Okay, it doesn't have to mean a superior person. A superior person would be a subset of this. Okay, but it just means, in broadly speaking, if you are virtuous, kind, benevolent, you will have some kind of understanding that the Tao is precious. It's valuable. Okay, it has some value. Okay, so that's why it's a treasure. So if you are the good person, the virtuous person, the benevolent person, you have some kind of inkling or understanding that, idea that, hey, that, there is something called the Tao, which is very, precious. All right. Okay. So another way of saying is that the Tao is treasured by people who are good, kind, or skillful in living life. That's another way of saying, all right, it's treasured by that because they all follow, they understand that Tao points us to a direction or it's a path for us to live a good life, right, etc. Okay, all right. So the good people or virtuous people, etc., are careful to live in accordance to Tao principles. They practice the Tao through thick and thin, through good and bad times. Yeah, because they realize that, hey, there's going to be ups and downs in life. That's the nature of all things, the yin and yang. Okay, but the Tao is still the true path, to living a good life, etc., etc. All right. Okay. So further understanding is that the good people cherish the Tao and regard it as the ultimate value, as the most valuable, because they understand that the Tao is ultimately the source of everything, and that we ultimately, therefore, not only the Tao is the mother of all things, the physical world, etc., the cosmos, but also us, okay, individual humans as well. All right. Okay. Now let's look at the last phrase. Why is the Tao the protection or refuge of the kind person also? Okay, so basic meaning is that now for those who are not good, okay, or unkind, or not kind, not skillful, that's what this means. Okay, not virtuous, not good, not kind. They do not treasure or value the Tao. But okay, so for those who are not good, we say good people in general, okay, or not skillful, because they're different adjectives, right? You can use describe, all right, okay? Or you can say, people who don't know the Tao, you can say that. I mean, that's more specific, but a little bit narrow. But those people who are not skillful in life, okay, you can say, or not ignorant, they do not treasure or value the Tao, even though they do not treasure or value the Tao, or they know nothing of the Tao, but yet they still benefit from everything the Tao provides, okay? And how is that? Because we know that the Tao, okay, the Tao nurtures everyone. Okay, so the unkind people are also nurtured and protected by the Tao, as with all living things, just as the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike, right? It doesn't matter, right? The sun shines on both the kind and the unkind people as well, shines on the good and the bad people as well, the virtuous and the unvirtuous, etc., right? Okay, so, all right, so that's the Tao is does not discriminate, you can say that, right? Or it's fair to all, right? It's, it doesn't pick favorites, right? Okay, all right, okay. So that's why it's also, the Tao is also the protection of the unkind people. So even those who are unaware, not good, unkind, or unskillful, they all benefit from the Tao. They can still find refuge in the Tao, all right? So further understanding is they are still, that is the unkind people, okay, that they are still the unskillful, unkind, etc. People are still given the chance to evolve and improve. They still have that opportunity, right? The Tao does not exclude them, say, oh, because you're not, kind, you're not good, you have no, you have no opportunity for redemption, etc., etc. Okay, no, okay. So as long as one is alive, there is always the possibility for change and transformation, for redemption, right? To make up, to make good, right? Okay, okay. For the connection between the kind and unkind person, let's go to Appendix A, okay? All right, here, okay. So the kind and unkind person, okay? So now, the terms, the good or kind person and the bad or unkind person, were first found in, not in this chapter, but in chapter 27, okay, the 11th, roughly in the middle, okay, all right, okay. So what it says, in chapter 27 is that the good person is the teacher of the bad person, okay, okay, all right. This is in the third section, okay, or third section. That's the 11th and 12th phrases. Okay, the beginning of the third section. Okay, okay, all right. The bad person has much. And what does that mean? The good person is the teacher of the bad person. That means the bad person has much to learn from someone who's doing well in life. That is the good person. Thus, the good person teaches the bad person to be better. Okay, all right. So that's what in chapter 27 phrase 11 means. Now, phrase 12, it says, the bad person is the resource of the good person. Okay, so while the skillful, aware, and observant cultivator of the Tao, that is the good person, can learn from the negative consequences and effects of the bad person's actions, decisions, etc. Thus, the bad person is a resource of the good person. Okay, so it's two ways, right? So the good person is the teacher because what the bad people can learn from the good person. But then the bad person is a resource because the good people or good person can also learn from the negative consequences of what, let's say, what happens to the bad people, quote unquote, right? Okay, so all right, so that's what chapter 27 is saying, that the relationship, the connection between the good and quote unquote the good and bad, or the kind and kind. Now, in chapter 27, okay, so it's about our connection and relationship with one another, that is between the good and the bad, quote unquote, right? Okay. But in this chapter, chapter 62, rather, it's about our connection to the Tao between the good and the bad. So it's the connection to the Tao, between the good people to the Tao, or the bad people to the Tao. Okay, so that's the other. It's like a triangle, if you will. Okay, like a triangle relationship connection. Okay, it is about how the Tao is perceived, regarded, and treated by different kinds of people, that is the kind or the unkind, right? Okay, now at a higher level, meta level, right, you can say the personal level reflects the universal. What does that mean? Okay, so personal means, right, whether we're good or bad, kind or unkind, it's how we live our lives, right? So that's at the personal level. But then the universal level is that at the level of the Tao, at the cosmic scale, the all-encompassing level of all existence, of all form. So what we're saying is that at the personal level, okay, how we connect, or how our relation deals with each other, with the good and bad, right? In this case, that's chapter 27. It's also reflected at the universal level. That means what is the relationship between the good person to the Tao and the bad person to the Tao? Okay, so that's what it means. Okay, so they both are, I would say, parallels. They both parallel each other in the sense that if the good people can have a quote unquote good relationship, or harmonious, maybe that's a better way to say, harmonious relationship to the bad people, that reflects also, that's the personal level, right? That's also reflected in the universal level, in the sense that then if that happens at the personal level, then at the universal, that means that the good person or the kind person, etc., also has a what, quote unquote, we can say harmonious relationship with the Tao, or connection with the Tao. It just means being at one with the Tao. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, so what it means is how we connect with the Tao is reflected with how we connect with other people, right? Good or bad, kind or unkind, and vice versa. Okay, so how we relate to other human or sentient beings is reflected in the strength and clarity of our connection to the Tao itself. Okay, so all right, so that's the connection, okay, between the two. Now let's go back. Let's see, that's Appendix A, right? Okay, let's go back. That's it for Appendix A. Okay, let's go back. Where are we? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So the implication is this. Okay. Whatever we can learn about the Tao can affect us greatly. Okay. That's why it's so precious too. Okay, it's a treasure. For the good people, they understand the Tao is a treasure and will not abandon it. They understand the Tao principles are eternal, so that is why they cherish or hold on to it. Okay, so that's for the quote unquote good people, the kind people. For those who are not aware or understand the Tao, that's the bad people, unkind people, etc. If there is a chance they can become better, kinder, more skillful, then their understanding of the Tao will change, or they will come to know the Tao. Okay, so that's the the connection. Okay, so for the story of the connection between the good and the bad people in the Tao, it's about there's a dialogue between a disciple and his master. Okay, it's called Different Appearance. All right, now the story goes something like this. Okay, it was one day there was a young disciple, who's studying under a wise master. Okay, and he's been pondering over the many different principles that the wise master had been teaching him. But then he was stuck on a point, on an issue. Okay, and he couldn't resolve it, so he approached his master and decided to ask the master for explanation. So his question to the master was, Master, you taught us, the principle, the Tao principle that, the Tao is fair to everybody, it's equal to all. And so therefore in our human interactions, the good, we should all treat all people, whether they're good, kind, or benevolent, and the bad, unkind, or non-virtuous people the same. Yeah, we should treat. But my understanding is that if the unvirtuous or the bad people, they're not, humane. They don't have the same goodness that the good people have or the kind people have. And so, they could be very inhumane or barbaric even. So if that's the case, then that means they're no longer humans, because they're inhuman, right? Inhumane, okay, etc., barbaric, etc. Okay, so yet you taught us that the Tao, we have after the Tao, as practice cultivators of Tao, we should treat both the same. So, but they're not humans. They're no longer humans because they're so bad, so evil, whatever. Okay, so how can we do that? Isn't that a contradiction? Okay, so the master didn't reply. So he wrote on a piece of paper, blank paper, the character Dao. Okay, the character Dao, and then he showed it to his disciple, and asked, "What does this mean?" And the disciple says, "Oh, that's the character for the Tao. I know that." Okay, good. Then the master again wrote another character. Okay, it's the same. It's another character. It's the same character Dao. Okay, but it's the reverse. Well, you'll see. I'll see it. You'll see it in Appendix B. Reverse. And then he showed it to his disciple again. And the disciple said, "Why? Oh, that's also a character for Dao." And the master asked, "Why do you say that? It's written differently, right? I mean, it's written, it's the mirror image, really. Okay, it's written differently, reverse. We say reverse. Okay. Why do you say that? That's also, the character for the Tao, the same." And the disciple said, "But master, even though it's written differently or it appears differently, but it has the same meaning. It's the same as same meaning." Okay, and then the master replied, "Exactly. Okay. The key is that even though I wrote two characters. I mean, it's two characters different. I mean, two characters that appear differently, right? One is the Tao. Okay, I'll show it to you in Appendix B, and the other one it's in reverse. I guess the word is inverse, right? I guess. Okay, but they both are the same, have the same essence, or that carries the same meaning. And so the disciple nodded his head and agreed, say, yes, I understand. That's the logic. But there's still something that's nagging him. He's still saying, but master, we're talking about characters. How does that apply to humans, to people? And the master responded, you see, these two words, it's two characters, even though they appear different, right? Because one's inverse of the other, but their essence is the same. Similarly, between the good people and the bad people, yes, their conducts, maybe even their thoughts, their conducts, etc., speech, are different, right? One thinks good thoughts, say good things or do good things. The other one, it's the total opposite. But so externally, or we say externally, they appear different, but their essence is the same. They're still humans. Regardless, the only difference is that why we say it's bad, they're bad, is because they've been, I don't say that he didn't say corrupted, but they've been distorted. Their human essence or their true nature, their self-nature essence, has been distorted by either ignorance, by desires, attachments, rage, anger, hate, whatever, passions, all that. Okay, it's been distorted, but it's just like you recognize the two characters, means the same thing. But because we understand the Tao, or we're cultivate students of the Tao, we understand that the human essence or nature, the self-nature, true nature, Buddha nature, are the same in every human being. The difference is how they conduct themselves. That's how we see. That's why we call them good or bad, or et cetera, et cetera. But their essence remains the same. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, so that's weird. Huh? I can't get there. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we say different appearance, right? 一相. Okay, so one is the character means I'm talking about the word character, and the other one has to do with the humans. Okay, so what's their correspondence? Okay, so the normal character for Tao is written this way, right? I mean, I hope we all know that, right? Okay, so that corresponds to, let's say, the normal or the good people. The normal. We say the normal, right? I mean, even though it is kind of dialectic, but I mean dualistic. But anyway, okay. But now, what the master also wrote was this reverse character. I had to create this. In what's that, in PowerPoint. And then anyway, okay, all right, okay. So the reverse is this, right? Or it's inverse, I don't know, mirror, or whatever you call it. Okay, so that represents the bad or unkind person. Okay, all right, so that's what it means. Okay, now under the character column, the left column, now both are words, right? Characters, right? It's just that one is the mirror image of the other, or the inverse, reverse. I think it's called the reverse, okay, of each other, right? Okay, and now between the good and the bad people, they're still people. They're still people regardless, okay? They're still people, just that one is good, one's bad, okay? Now for the character column, how do you recognize that these two are, well, this is no good, okay? These two characters mean the same thing. I mean, right? You have to be able to read and write, right? That's the key, right? So you have to, recognize that. If you don't recognize, if you can't read and write, let's say you are an archaeologist and you stumbled upon the ancient writings or something, and if you don't know these two characters, or if you don't know what this character means, then you probably wouldn't understand that they are the same. Okay, but okay, so the key is you have to be literate. Okay, so that's the key here, to recognize characters, right? To recognize whether, even though their appearance may differ, but the meaning is the same, all right, or the essence is the same. Same thing with the humans. You have to know the Tao. That is, know what kindness, goodness, virtues are. That's the key. You have to know that. Okay, that's how you can tell. That's how you can say, oh, even though one is a good person or one's a bad person, but their essence is the same. So you have to know the Tao. Okay, you have to know the Tao, because you have to know that because of the Tao, everybody has the same Buddha nature essence, or self-nature, true nature, whatever. The only reason why one person is considered good, another person is considered bad, is because, quote unquote, the bad person, or the good person for that matter, okay, they were influenced, or you can say influenced, okay, by some qualities, such as passions, desires, etc., etc., and that's what turned them to be good or bad, but their essence remains the same. Okay, it's not that the essence is good or the essence is bad. It's not that. It's none of that, right? Okay, so all right, so that's why the Tao is the treasure of the kind person, is because the virtuous, benevolent, good person understands how marvelous, how profound, how wondrous the Tao is. So that's why they treasure, and that they therefore live accordingly. Okay, all right. And it's the protection, we say protection, it's just a refuge, the same thing, of the unkind person, is that the Tao also nurtures, nurtures these quote unquote bad people, okay, unkind people, just like the sun shines on all people, right, good or bad. The rain, rains on all, the rain falls on all people, good or bad, etc., etc. It doesn't matter. So the Tao treats even the bad people still fairly. So it still nurtures them. Protection, it can mean nurture, still develops. It allows the bad people to live. It still allows the bad people to live. The Tao doesn't say, hey, you're bad, so I'm gonna kill you. The Tao doesn't say that, right? Okay, so that's the same idea. Okay. I mean, there's also another way of saying is that the Tao also allows, which we talked about earlier, the good, the bad people, the unkind people, the non-virtuous people, also to have the opportunity to find and follow the Tao too. Okay, they're also afforded that opportunity. Okay, the chance to still, you can say, redeem themselves or to find their correct path, etc. Okay, all right. Now, how much of a chance or how great of an opportunity, etc. Now that's up to karma. That's karma. Because karma is a result of your actions, right? It's action consequence, right? Action result, right? Okay, karma. That's karma. Okay, the Tao doesn't have anything to do with that. The Tao is just open. Okay, allows you the freedom, right? The liberty to do what you want to do, right? Okay. Now, if you do good things, you get good results. If you do bad things, you get bad. That's karma, right? That's causality, etc. Okay, so but the Tao still remains open. In other words, open meaning that you still have the opportunity for even the most evil people have the chance, have the opportunity to redeem themselves. I don't want to do this further, but you guys can read stories about, Buddha's cousin, the older brother of Ananda, Devadatta, that's his name. He was considered very evil, right? Blah blah blah. That he's almost like has no redeeming character. That's what they call the ichanti, right? Ichantita. I mean that's the term. Okay. It's Hanti, and in Chinese, okay? It just means a person with, that's in the Lotus, I think it's the Lotus Sutra or the Surangama Sutra, they mentioned that term, that, that person has no redeeming character, good points of value, period, okay? Even that, according to Buddha, even those type of people, he said, okay, I think it's in the Lotus Sutra, that they still can redeem themselves. Yeah, so that's the Tao. All right. Okay. So that's how. Okay. All right. So I don't want to go take too long. I mean, I'm already halfway through. Okay. So let me finish this. Okay. Okay. All right. So the key point now, because we're in section 2 now, right? No, we're still section 1. Okay. Okay. So the Tao, okay, is marvelous, profound, and wondrous because it is the ultimate source of everything, right? We know that, okay, chapter 42. So those who understand this, that is the good people, the kind people, etc., will cherish it like a treasure. While those who do not understand the Tao, the unkind or, bad people, also wish to change their lives. So what they want is also the wonder of the great Tao. Now, may also, I should maybe say, one day may also wish to change your lives, right? There are those people who, you say who wish to redeem themselves. That's another way of saying, okay? So what they also want from is also the wonder of the Tao. Now, for summary is, it's the section. It's the priceless Tao, right? Okay. Okay, so number one, the wonder of all human beings. What's the Tao? So like mirrored things, we too originate from the Tao, right? Mirror things, all the, 万物, all the things in the cosmos. Okay, so the Tao, what we find that it's the innate nature in all human beings. That's the Tao. Okay, there's a net, and not only that, this innate nature has a preference for peace and tranquility. Okay, that's the inner part of us that yearns for peace of mind, right? Okay, all of us have that. Well, that's innate in us because that's the Tao in us. Okay, also the Tao, it nurtures all humans or sentient beings. It provides the world, our earth, the environment, the ecology that allows us to survive, develop, and thrive. Okay, now, number two, second point is it's treasure for the good. Why is it treasure of good? So now we have to reflect. Okay, each of us has to reflect on the Tao from our perspective. If we say it's valuable, why? Why is it valuable? All right, I mean, we have to ask these questions. So what is the goodness of Tao for you? Okay, so we have to ask this. Okay, why we say that? Okay, all right. Now, we'll get to this in section 3. Okay, anyway, but okay. So then also number 3, it's the protection or the refuge for the not so good, the unkind or quote unquote bad people. Now, because the Tao gives everyone the chance, everyone, okay, good or bad, the chance to grow, even those who do not understand or cherish the Tao, even if you don't believe in the Tao, even if you don't believe, even if you're atheist, it doesn't matter. Okay, all right. The Tao still allows everybody to grow. That's how it nurtures. Okay, to grow. Okay, but when the bad, not so good people, the unkind people, when they are able to grow, develop, understand the Tao, if they have that, if they so choose, they can become wiser and perhaps cherish the Tao. So the Tao, it still provides for them, okay, for the bad. I mean, it's for both, okay, the Tao, okay. On the one hand, the Tao is treasured by the people who understands the Tao, who knows about that, and even though the Tao may not be known or cherished, etc., by the bad people, yet they have the chance to be able to seek out the Tao and follow the Tao, okay, or redemption. All right, okay. So let's go back. Summary 1. I think we're in section 2 now. I'm going to hurry up a little bit. Okay. Let me go. Oh, yeah, that's part 1. Sorry. Oops. Okay. All right. So let's go to section 2. All right. Okay. Section 2 says, admirable words can win or earn respect. Admirable actions can improve people. Right? Those who are unkind, how can they be abandoned? All right. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, this term literally, it just means market, but it just means that you can sell, you can earn something. Okay. So that's the context. Okay. All right. So the basic meaning is this. First phrase. Okay. When we say beautiful or admirable, literally means beautiful words. Okay. But in this case, beautiful words have a negative context of being untrue. That's in chapter 81, last chapter. We don't want to, I don't want to jump too far, but so that's why in this context, the term is positive. Okay. It doesn't have a dualistic meaning. Okay. All right. Or okay. So it just means that it's inspiring or uplifting, hence translates admirable words, not beautiful words. Get it? Okay. So that's now at the kingdom level, admirable words can be a stirring speech that is inspirational and uplifting. Okay, so it's not negative. So you can say beautiful words can be negative too. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So that's why we don't translate here as beautiful. We translate it as admirable. That means admirable, something that's uplifting, something that's positive. In other words, okay, not negative, positive. Okay, not hate-inspired speech. Okay, there we have that, right? There's called hate-inspired speech or etc. or stuff like that. Okay, so you can say those are beautiful words too. Okay, I mean it's kind of perverse. It kind of pervert makes it it's a perverse sense. Okay, so it's not but it's not admirable. Those are not admirable. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's, I want you to understand that. Now, at the personal level, admirable words can be kind words or words of encouragement used in our daily interactions. Okay. So that's why it's only positive. Okay. All right. It doesn't have any hidden meaning, or it's not sarcasm, etc. It's not irony. It's stuff like, not like that. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So that's what we mean by admirable words. Okay. All right. So another meaning is that admirable words are words spoken in accordance with the Tao that have a positive impact on other people in the world. Okay. So that's what it means. All right. So it can't be hate-filled speech or hate-filled words. Okay. It can't be that. Or it can't be, I think the French term is words of double entendre. That means two meanings, dual meanings, dualistic meanings. It's like dualistic meanings. Okay. Double entendre. Okay. That's the French term. Okay. All right. So admirable words that are helpful to others, like the Tao is nurturing for all living beings. Okay. What makes the words admirable is because they nurture, something. They nurture, living beings, just like the Tao. Okay. All right. So further understanding is that admirable words can be words of guidance or mentoring, or can be simple, like a cheerful greeting. For some examples of the powers, okay, there's some, let's go to Appendix C. Okay, it's called the power of words. Okay, so power of your self-talk. Okay, that means, what you say to yourself. Okay, or, not out loud necessarily, but in your mind. Okay, so what we have to do is we like to see going from left column, that's from the negative, to the right column to the positive. Okay, so we want to transform from the negative to the positive. Okay, that's a start, right? That's a starting point. Okay, because we all have, all of us, because we're humans, right? There are negative stuff that we encounter, right? Negative. Okay. So the first one is, life is hard, then you die. That's kind of, that's kind of harsh. It's very gloomy. It's very pessimistic. It's like it's pessimism, right? It's like a very pessimistic view, right? Yeah, life is difficult, and then you die. That's it. It seems like that there's no hope, or there's nothing to look forward to beyond just this physical life. Okay, so we wanna, we kind of want to transform this. Okay, and then we don't transform that is to say, hey, life can be easy if, and that's the caveat, if I walk the Tao, that is, I follow, cultivate, and practice the Tao. Okay, so that's the catch. Okay, life can be easy if we walk the path of the Tao, and that's what I'm saying. Okay, another way of saying. Okay, otherwise, life is difficult. Life is, it's purely, you say, karmic interactions or karmic, results, etc. Okay, and then you die. That's very gloomy, right? Okay, now. Another negative is kind of, it's not so much negative. It can be, but it's more like hesitant, okay? Or sitting on the fence. I need more information. Yeah, I need more information about something, whatever, something, about anything. The positive is you want to be proactive. I need to get started now. You want to take the initiative, be proactive, okay? This is more, I need more information is kind of more, like sitting on the fence, not really being proactive at all. Yeah, just, I'm waiting for that. Okay, all right. Tomorrow, tomorrow, mañana, tomorrow. Okay, all right. Whereas we have to transform that into say, no, I need to take action now, or I need to get started at. Okay. Another thing is, this means saying, what are the things I want? I say it's negative. I mean, there are some things that you want could be good. I mean, so that's not bad. But I'm saying like this negative column has dualistic meaning aspects. It could be negative too. I want to get more and more of this or whatever. Okay, more and more. Okay, that's you want to transform to that, to ask the question, why do you need these things? Okay, let's see. I have one house already. Well, why do I need 10 houses? I don't know. I mean, maybe you can, I don't know. I need 10 vacation homes all over the world, whatever. Okay. Or, I have one car, but I need, I need like 2 more cars, 3 more cars. Whatever. Okay. So you ask yourself, well, why do you need that? I have a house. I have a roof over my head already. Why do I need another house? I don't know. Okay, maybe you want to upgrade. Okay, fine. All right. Okay, maybe. But then, do I need an extra vacation home? Here, whatever. Okay, stuff like that. Okay, I mean, so you ask yourself, why do I need these things? Okay, now this is for people say the answer will be no. So that means, whenever people ask you something, or ask you if you're interested in hearing about the Tao, or interested, or whatever. Okay, so you're very defensive, and so your default will be no to everything. No, 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 no. So that can be bad. I mean, yes, no to bad things. Hey, let's go out and do some drugs and stuff like that. Okay, no, that's okay. That's good. But remember, you can say also this will be no to also potentially good things that you don't know about, right? Okay, so that's something that we want to say. So rather you have to say the answer will depend. Yeah, that's good. That's better answer, right? That's a better way of thinking, is because, hey, that depends. If it's bad, then if it's really bad for my health, why should I do it, right? But if it's good for your health, yeah, why not, right? Okay, so that's okay. Okay. Another is that default is that we always, whenever we encounter something new, strange, different, or whatever, okay, we always say, oh, that's a problem. That could be a problem. See, that's a very pessimistic, right? Or very defensive, very negative. Okay, that's why it's negative. Okay, now rather than saying that, we should say, hey, that's a challenge. That's something worthwhile. Okay. If you say, okay, if you initially say, hey, yeah, the answer will depend. That you write, hey, that could be good. This could be good. Then you can say, hey, it's a challenge. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's a challenge. Something that you want to. It's a new experience. Something that you want to. Okay. All right. Another one is this. Okay. The negatives. I will never. You fill in the blank. I'll never do whatever. I'll never whatever. Okay. Whatever. Okay. I'll never. So that's negative, because that's very, very extreme, right? I'll never. That's very emphatic. Rather than that, you should say, how can I help? How can I learn? How can I, whatever, all that, advance, progress, whatever, okay, all that. So that's much better. So it's like it's also like a, further step from a challenge, okay, so when you see it's a challenge, okay, you can say, hey, but how can I approach this differently? Or how can I, overcome this, whatever, stuff like that, okay? So that's from the negative to positive. Last is, I have to. Yeah, people say, I have to. When people say, I have to do this, it implies that not only is it a challenge, it's also like you must, you have to do. It's like coercion. It's like you're being coerced. It's like you're being forced to do something. So rather than have that mindset of saying, I have to do this, rather than that, you can say, I get to do this. Yeah, so that's even better. Isn't that more positive? And so therefore it's less negative, and also, less of a like a block, like an obstacle. When you say I have to, it implies that, I may not be willing to do it, but I'm forced to do it. I'm being coerced or persuaded or whatever, or obligated. Obligated. That's very serious, very heavy, right? It's very heavy. So you, instead of saying that or thinking like that, you say, hey, I get to do this. I get to earn merits or whatever. I mean, that's a motive, but I get to help people. How's that? I get to show kindness. I get to show compassion, mercy, whatever, all that stuff, benevolence, etc., virtue, etc. That's the better side. Okay. All right. So, all right. So I'm almost out of time. Let me proceed. Okay. So this is Appendix C, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's go to. All right. Okay. All right. So now, okay. Now, all right. Okay. So that's the first phrase. Okay. First line. Okay. Now let's go to the second phrase. Is what are admirable words? Okay. So second phrase. Yeah. Okay. Admirable word actions make people better, or they improve people. They affect, influence, inspire, and move people in a positive way. On a social level, such these may be charitable contributions, on a social society level. On a personal level, it can be a small act of kindness, even a smile, encouraging word, etc. Friendly smile, it could be that, okay? All right, further understanding is, just like words, your actions can have a ripple effect. In ancient times as today, actions speak louder than words. Your actions are aligned with what you say. Just the offer of kindness itself, a kindness. Yeah, an offer of kindness is itself a kindness. Okay, so for examples, how little things can make a difference. Let's go to Appendix D. All right, here it's called small action, big difference. 小行为大差异. Okay, now, okay, so there are different levels for yourself, for others, and for the world. Let's start with for yourself. So let's say saving money. We save. Okay, you don't have to save. Oh, I have to save, 50 grand a year, whatever. Okay, you can say just a penny a day. Okay, doesn't matter. It adds up. Okay, so saving a little bit every day will make a big difference in the long run, right? A piggy bank. Just put one coin, a few loose change every day after shopping. You drop it in. Over time, over months, years, it adds up. All right. So likewise, in cultivation, daily incremental learning and practice. The journey of a lifelong cultivation is composed of many steps. I don't want to jump the gun, but chapter 64 is going to talk a little bit about this. So, okay. So anyway, so just in cultivation, baby steps. That's called in psychology, right? It's baby steps. Just daily incremental learning practice, because it's a journey of a lifetime. All right. So, but it's composed of many, many steps. Okay. So that's for yourself. Now for others, let's say being a good Samaritan, offering help to others in times of distress and need. Okay. Actually, it should be in all times, regardless, but especially in times of distress and need, right? Okay. That's being a good Samaritan, right? The Bible taught us that, right? Being a good Samaritan. You offer it without conditions, without strings attached. That's the key. That's the wu wei part. Okay. That's the wu wei. All right. Okay. So just like a good, for others. Now this is like being a fellow passenger on the same boat, offering to be a good listener to another person during times of need. We are all like passengers on the same boat. So that's empathy, right? You can say empathy. This is empathy. Put yourself in other person's shoes, right, etc. Okay. That's what that's a small action, just by offering, your shoulders for a person to cry on or to lean on, whatever. Okay, that's that's a small act, right? Small act, but it means a whole world of difference to the other person, right? To the person, especially in distress or need. All right. Okay. So that's now on the world level, the handshake. There's a handshake as well now. Okay. It's the handshake by Princess Diana that shook the world. Okay. I don't want to go too much in detail. You guys can read about that. I don't have my time. Okay. This is in the mid 80s or early mid 80s or something like. Okay. When Princess Diana was still around. She doesn't say much. Okay, she doesn't say too much. She's being the princess, which is a very high profile. You're always in the limelight. There was a big thing about AIDS during that time. Okay, or a lot of ignorance. People don't know how AIDS came about. What causes it. So a lot of people were scared that by touching an AIDS a person infected with AIDS or HIV positive person, you're going to get infected. Okay. Now, Princess Diana, she's been very, compassionate, to those people. And back then, don't forget, in the early stages of the, AIDS, disease, pandemic or whatever, there's no cure, and doctors, and that was not considered a big, high priority, medical issue. Okay, unlike the pandemic today. Because, I don't say not that, not as many people were affected initially. Okay. Anyway, but there was a lot of stigma attached to, people with AIDS, HIV positive, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. All right. Okay. So Princess Diana, so a lot of people were fearful that, if you touch the person, it's like, what's that? The people who have, what's that term? In the Bible, it's mentioned. What's that disease? Leprosy. That's it. Leprosy. Yeah. It's like in the old days. Okay. People were very ignorant about leprosy, right? They thought that, or fearful. They thought that, if you touch them, you're going to get leprosy, stuff like that. So they isolate them, right? They throw them off in an isolated island or community or whatever. Okay. So same thing with back then for the AIDS. Okay. AIDS epidemic. So Princess Diana made a point of visiting, the hospitals, where they're treating AIDS patients. And then she made the explicit, conscious decision to shake the hands of AIDS patients. You know that? And so That's why I say that little gesture, she's no doctor, no saint or whatever. Oh, okay, but anyway, all right. But she shook their hands to show the world. And obviously, the paparazzi was there, but she's a princess, very high profile. So they took pictures, so, splashed throughout the world. Back then, the internet wasn't developed that yet. But anyway, so took off there, and people said, wow, look, here's a princess shaking the hands of an AIDS patient, whatever. So that's a sign of compassion, small gesture, just shaking the hand, and yet it could have a big impact. Okay, all right. Similarly, planting a tree, okay, as time goes on, a small sapling grew to become a large tall tree and provided shade and shelter to others long after we have left this world. So, right, when we've planted, the huge trees that benefit us today, these giant trees, or not, it doesn't have to be giant, it's just big tall trees that give us shelter, aid to other animals, a refuge, home to animals, etc., squirrels, whoever, whatever. Those trees were planted by someone many, many generations ago, or maybe at least 1 or 2 generations ago, right? Okay, so same thing for us. Okay, what we do today may be small. The way how we bring up our children, for example, or the little words that we speak to people today, may have a profound influence, a earth-shattering influence, long after we are gone. Okay, so that's the small action, big words. Okay, I don't want to take too much time. I'm almost done. Okay, I gotta get to section 2. Oh God, section 2 and 3. Okay, where are we? Okay, that's Appendix D. Okay, okay, okay. The basic meaning of the last phrase. Okay, not everyone is kind, good, or skillful. How does the Tao abandon those? Okay, Okay, so another meaning is that those who are unkind or not skillful with the Tao can be in these categories. They're not mutually exclusive. You could be one of those. Okay, so you could be in one or more of these. So one is those who are ignorant of the Tao or not receptive. Okay, they're those people, right? Okay, and that's, I can say, vast majority of today's world, right? Of the 7+ billion people, almost 8 billion people, right? Then within that group, there's another group. There are people who really messed up their lives. I mean, yeah, it could be criminals. You can like convicts, etc., etc. Okay, yeah, that's pretty messed up. But it doesn't have to be. You could be alcoholic, drug addict, etc. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's another group. And then another group is the people who lack self-awareness, not aware of one lacks in the Tao. Okay, now even Tao cultivators can be in this category. Okay, at times. Okay, we sometimes lack self-awareness. We either let our passions control us or whatever. Okay, so in heat of the moment, so we could be that. And then another group is those who have not lived up to their potential. We can now, this is where the biggest people will fall in, you can say, right? Okay, other than number 1. Okay, but most of us would say, yeah, we may not have lived up to our potential. And that's, yeah, I admit, I say, oh geez, we can always be better, right? We can always become better. All right, okay, so that's another meaning of those unkind or whatever. Okay, okay, so the basic meaning of the last phrase is in the context of the Tao, abandoning the unkind, not good or not skillful in the Tao. That's what it means. That means the Tao does not abandon them. All right, okay, so another meaning is that the Tao cultivators take their cue from nature. We observe that nature does not pick and choose, even though we say, "Oh, that's wrong. There's natural selection." Well, okay, that's evolution, right? Natural selection. Okay, because that's because of changing environmental factors. Okay, or factor. Okay, nature is indifferent to the variations in living things. Nature lets living things evolve all they want. That's why if we look at the dinosaurs or the different look at the ancient, before humans, the ancient animal history or tree branch. Wow, there's like so many varieties. There's like a proliferation. Now, some become extinct because of the changing environment, just like the dinosaurs became extinct because of the the asteroid or whatever, the volcanoes or whatever. Okay, stuff like that. Okay, but nature does what it does. Nothing in nature is wasted, though. Everything is recycled. Okay, all right. Okay. Now, what does that mean is that Tao makes use of everything, does not abandon everything. That's what it means. Okay, when nothing is wasted, it just means it doesn't abandon anything. Even though things may be considered, insignificant or minuscule, the Tao still makes use of them. Okay, so the Tao cultivators learn from this and do not give up on people. Yeah, even on bad people. I have to say, give up on bad people. They're, everybody. Okay, there are toxic influences in life, though. Like the bad people that then we can distance ourselves from them. We do not have to be negatively impacted by them and be detached from them. So, but this does not mean that we're giving up on them. Okay, okay. Now the implication is this. Okay. Admirable words are words that can help people to become closer to the Tao. Whatever the level of skill, they are admirable and win respect from others. Admirable actions are those deeds that are in accordance with or congruent to the Tao. Admirable actions that are Tao-centric. Because actions speak louder than words, sages teach by example, not by lecturing people, and only speak when appropriate or necessary. They back up their words with actions. So as a reflection of Tao, nothing in nature is wasted, so the Tao does not abandon anything or anyone, even the unkind. Okay, so the key point is admirable words and actions are Tao-centric. Words that are spoken and actions in accordance with the Tao will nurture and improve all those who listen and see. Never underestimate the power of admirable, or beautiful, encouraging, inspirational, positive words and actions, or Tao-centric words and actions. Just as there is power in admirable words, there is power in admirable actions. Both can have lasting and widespread impact, just as the Tao does not abandon anything. For example, the Tao still nurtures the unkind and still gives them the opportunity to find and follow the Tao. Tao cultivators do not abandon anyone because everyone goes through phases, right? It may take some time, for quote unquote the bad people to find their way. Okay, and some people may need more time, but this may require some distance in order to help them more, not less. Oh, okay, that's section 1. So let's go to section 2. Okay, geez, it's an hour, right? Yeah. So okay, so maybe okay, we have a choice. Do you want to stop here now because there's a lot? I mean, I still got 2 sections to go, and then we'll just finish this on the next week, or do you want to continue? It's up to you guys. Because I'm on section page 4. I got still like 5 more pages to go. 5 or 6. Yeah, I'm halfway. Well, I'm only on page 4 out of page 10. Well, yeah, I have 2 pages. Yeah, I'm about halfway. So, okay, let's go. Let's finish. You want to finish? Let's finish. I'm going to do this very quick. Let's see. I'm going to skip some stuff here. Okay. Therefore, when crowning the emperor and installing the 3 ministers, although there is the offering of jade that precedes 4 horses, it is not better than being seated in this Tao. Okay, what does that mean? Just means that, okay, in ancient China, the ascension or the crowning of the emperor is a grand and big spectacle. Okay, just like the U.S. inauguration of a president, same idea. Okay, whenever a new emperor ascended the throne, key ministers are also appointed. That's called the 3 ministers. Okay, I mean there are more than 3, but these are the 3 key ones. There's called the ministry of administration, literally public works. That's called Si Kong. Then there's the minister of law enforcement. Literally, it's the Si Tu, or law minister of education. That's the internal aspect. Okay. One's civil, one's internal, and then there's the minister of war, which is Sima, literally minister of horses. Okay, that's external. So these are the key ministerial positions that report directly to the emperor. Okay, so during the appointment, okay, of these 3 key ministers in the emperor's court, there's an elaborate ceremony. Okay, now although not at the same level as the imperial coronation, it's still a grand spectacle because these 3 ministers are the most powerful officials in the empire. Okay, now what are the thing about the jade and the horses? Okay, what it means is this: the offering of the large jade disc and the team of the 4 steeds, or horses, 4 carriages, is a symbol of imperial wealth, status, and power held by the ministers. Yet they're still not equal to the Tao. Okay, then the jade disc and the team of 4 horses symbolizes wealth and status, while the emperor and ministers represent power, which are all surpassed by the changeless eternal Tao. That's the source of everything. Okay, so addition means that the grand spectacle and things presented at the ascension of the emperor and the appointment of the 3 ministers are valued by most people, right? In general, right? We consider that, hey, that's a grand spectacle, very, very, very elaborate, very, very valuable, very, precious moment. But they all do not last. nor do they make the kingdom or the world any better because they do not provide spiritual sustenance. So at the personal level, all the wealth, status, and power can be lost and will not last, while the Tao is always with us and always be ours. Okay, so deeper understanding is being seated in this Tao means to have a well-established practice of the Tao, right? That's in chapter 54. Okay, so by having a well-established practice and embracing the teachings of Tao, it will always be ours. The implication is that the coronation of the emperor and the appointment of the 3 king ministers were considered the grandest spectacle of the empire in ancient China. Even this grandest aspect of the material world cannot compare to the Tao. The jade disc and team of 4 carriage horses represent the material wealth, status, and power of the world, yet they are not better, greater, or more lasting than Tao. All the tangibles of phenomena are surpassed by this intangible, invisible Tao. Just remember, the 4 stages, the 4 steeds, is because when you're an official, like a minister, you are given like a chariot. It's a carriage. It's a 4-horse carriage. That's what it stands for. Okay. So anyway, it symbolizes power. Okay. All right. Status and power. Okay. Now, at the universal level, even the greatest and grandest things of the material cannot compare to the intangible Tao. At the personal level, all the material wealth, status, and power are still not better, greater, or everlasting compared to the Tao, because the Tao is constant, infinite, and eternal, and the source of all phenomena. Okay, that's the entire cosmos. So with well-established practice of Tao, being seated in the Tao, we always have it and will never lose it. While all the wealth, status, and power can be lost and will not last. So for some reasons why the material cannot wait. Let's go to, okay, let's do this quickly. All right, okay. Now this is not all inclusive. So you can make up your own list, not better than this. That's some reasons, okay, why the Tao is precious. Remember from section 1 we talked about genuine happiness and joy. Although material things can provide some happiness, joy, but they do not last. So they're temporary, so they cannot guarantee true happiness. Only the intangible Tao provides true lasting happiness and joy, okay? It's everlasting and therefore real. Material things do not last, so they're ultimately not real. All phenomena is ephemeral and illusory. So only the Tao is everlasting and changeless. Tao is the essence and the source of everything. We call chapter 42, okay? And it's also a path of enlightenment. That's what the Tao is. Okay, so on an internal level, it provides a way for personal enlightenment and liberation from the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It's a path of cultivation that leads to contentment, inner peace, and understanding of life. Material things leads to desires, greed, attachments, contention, and ignorance. Okay, that's why the Tao is better than material things. Okay, way to connect with sentient beings in the world at the external level. Okay, it's provides the path of cultivation to nurture everyone and the way for world harmony, right? And whereas material things lead to accumulating more and more, never being content, leading to contention or strife, right? So that's why material things cannot compare to the Tao, okay? So let's go back. I think we're in section 3 now, the last section. Sorry, let's go back. Summary 2, right? Oh no, summary 3. Okay. All right. Okay. So the key point is this. Okay. Yeah, we're at the end. Sorry for running. Okay. So the key point is this. Wait, are we there? No. Sorry. I skipped. Sorry. I skipped. Okay. Yeah, that's part 2. Okay. Sorry. Now let's section 3 here. Why is it the ancients value this Tao so much? Is it not said, those who seek will find, and those with guilt will not be faulted? Therefore, it is the most valuable in the world. Okay. So basic meaning of the first phrase is, why do the ancients honor this Tao, or why do ancients consider the Tao to be the greatest value? Okay. Now let's look at the second phrase. Okay. The second line basically is this. Okay. There's 2 interpretations, but let's do the first one. Okay, here it is. Okay, so the first interpretation, there's no need to talk about seeking the Tao if we are living daily in accordance with the Tao principles. Where we have the Tao within our minds, are in accord with the Tao as our aim, have the Tao as the standard, and all actions are in accord with Tao, then there's no need to seek the Tao, because the wondrous Tao is already within us. So there's no need. Okay, so that's one interpretation. Okay, the second interpretation of that phrase is, okay, of the phrase meaning, is it not said those who seek will find? Okay, second interpretation is this. If we have not entered the realm of the truth, or are still not living a life of the Tao, okay, the realm of pain, then when we seek the Tao later, we will still find the Tao. That's what it means, okay? All right, that's the second interpretation. Now, from the first interpretation, it says, if we cultivate the path of the Tao to the ultimate end, our fault will no longer exist. That's the third phrase means, and those with guilt will not be faulted, okay? So if we follow the Tao, if we cultivate to the ultimate end, our faults will no longer exist. They'll be gone, okay? Okay, we can say all our debts will be repaid. Okay, so we have no more faults. Okay, all right. And also, well, there are two parts. One is the karmic side, the debts that we owe, repair, and also we will, because we follow the Tao, we will no longer commit, wrongs, right, or faults. Okay, all right. Now, for the second interpretation line is this: if we do not seek the Tao and do not live a life of Tao, but when we decide to seek the path of the Tao will not find fault with us. The Tao still will not abandon us. It still is there for us to follow, even if, okay? All right, so let's look at the last phrase, which means that because of the previous three phrases and previous section 2, the Tao is the most valuable in the world, okay? So the ancients have followed the Tao in order to find the answer to the ultimate question of life. So the Tao is the most valuable for the ancients, okay? Now, for those who live in accordance to the Tao in their daily lives, those who do not need to seek the Tao, right? Who hold on to the Tao within their minds, who hold the Tao as their standard, whose actions will conform to the Tao, they do not need to seek the Tao because the Tao is already within them. Thus, this wondrous Tao is the most valued, okay? On the other hand, for those who do not seek the Tao and do not live a life of Tao, but when they seek the Tao, they will still find it. So this Tao is the most valuable in the world because it is the changeless and lasting refuge or protection for them, all right? So the implication is this: the Tao is always present, whether we are seeking it or not. The Tao does not blame or judge us for not seeking or following it. The Tao is just a path for us to take if we so choose. It is the way for us to determine our own destiny. There is no greater treasure than spiritual liberation. So let's go to part 3. This is the last part. The Tao is the most valuable. Why? Because words and actions, remember admirable words and actions, we speak and act in accordance to the Tao. And then another point is nothing in the material world can compare to the Tao because the Tao surpasses anything in the material world. Those who seek it will find it. Those who do not cherish the Tao still have the opportunity to find, learn, and benefit. And those with guilt will not be faulted because the Tao does not judge or assign blame. The Tao is ready whenever you are. Okay, so I'm almost at the very end. Just bear with me a little bit. Okay, all right. Okay, so the key point here it is. Okay, this chapter points out to us a key point. That is, the wondrous or profound Tao is more valuable than all the material things of the world. That's represented by the jade, symbolized by the jade and horses, okay, or the 4 horses, for the team of horses. The Tao, as the treasure house of the world, is the source of everything and the source for everything. The value of Tao is reflected in the gift of spiritual liberation. So on the personal level, what is that gift? What is that spiritual liberation? It's the simple pleasure of sitting down with an open mind, or you can say calm mind, to enter into the Tao, okay, the realm of truth. It's the simple pleasure of sitting down with a calm mind to enter surpasses any material riches. When we resonate deeply with a spiritual truth, when a teaching suddenly sheds light on a dilemma and liberates us from perplexing ignorance, that is when we realize the priceless nature of the Tao, because the Tao is already within all of us, so we do not need to seek it. On the universal level, okay, where the intangible Tao is always there, whether for those who seek it or for those who are ignorant of it. For those who do not know enough to seek it, the Tao still does not fault them or blame them, because the Tao is always present and will always be present. We say the unkind person, the person who are ignorant of Tao, they too will be ready to embark on a spiritual quest of their own. Okay. Today, we are very fortunate to have so many Today, we are very fortunate to have so many options and opportunities to get to know and understand the Tao. It is up to us to cherish the Tao as the greatest treasure of all. That is, the wonder of all things, the treasure of the kind. I should say the kind, that's good enough. The protection or refuge of the unkind. And it does not abandon anyone. Those who follow the path of Tao will reach their destination. But this path is always available to everyone. So this Tao is the value beyond value, the priceless of the priceless, the greatest wonder of the world, the greatest gift and treasure house of the world. Okay, so this is why the profound Tao is the most valuable or noble in the world. This is why when the ancients searched for an answer to the ultimate question of life, they found it in the Tao. This is why even today we praise the Tao. This is the wonders of profound Tao. Okay, I'm sorry it took a little while. It took like 75 minutes, but that's good. All right. Okay, this concludes the chapter 62. If I've said anything wrong or incorrectly, I ask for Buddha's and Lao Tzu's guidance and your guidance as well. Okay, thank you.